The following Delmarva Life segments in today's Small Town series are brought to you by the City of Seaford.
Well, as we learned earlier in the show, Seaford has a very long and rich history, and the people who live there take pride in the city's roots.
The Seaford Historical Society has taken on the mission of preserving that history for future generations to explore. So we stopped by the Seaford Museum to see how visitors can step inside and take a step back in time. Preserve, protect, and present Seaford history. That's the mission of the Seaford Historical Society, something Seaford Museum curator Jim Blackwell strives to do every day. The museum's located in the old Seaford post office that was purchased in 2001.
Our museum covers from 1608 with Captain John Smith coming up the Nanticoke and coming into the Seaford area, probably stopping around Woodland, and anyway, it goes from there up through the Revolution, goes through Civil War, up through the DuPont plant coming, and really creating a very nice town that we have. So we're very lucky to have such a wonderful town.
The Seaford story begins with Captain John Smith, but has plenty of other famous historical figures within it, most notably Harriet Tubman, who spent time in Seaford during her famous Underground Railroad journeys. There's an exhibit that tells that story.
And here's Harriet Tubman, who made an escape through Seaford with slave Tilly from Baltimore. And she came up through Seaford and went on to freedom.
In fact, the Seaford Historical Society has offered guided walking tours of Harriet Tubman's Tilly's escape to show visitors the path taken by the famous liberator.
It goes down to the River Walk, and that's the River Walk where Harriet Tubman came in with slave Tilly. And once you get to that point, where the public landing was for the steamboats, you are now walking in the footsteps of Harriet Tubman as you go up the hill to Gateway Park. And at the top of Gateway Park is where she spent the night.
Other exhibits tell the story of Seaford's theater district. That's right, Seaford had a theater district in the Roaring '20s.
We had 3 theaters and a nightclub. In 1921, there were 3 theaters here. So we had a theater district.
Something else Seaford had plenty of: bears. You can see one here.
And that black bear is just like the hundreds or thousands of bears that we had back in the 1600s here. There are no more bears in Delaware, but the last one in this area was killed in I think 1907.
Along with the good, you'll find the bad, specifically Patty Cannon.
We have Patty Cannon. Patty Cannon was the worst female murderer, criminal in probably America's history.
Visitors can learn about when Seaford was the nylon capital of the world thanks to DuPont. Other exhibits focus on early agriculture, shipbuilding, canning, the poultry industry, and transportation.
We just have some of the big topics of our history in chronological order. So it's very nice.
The Historical Society also owns the Gov Ross Mansion, along with 12 acres of land and outbuildings.
And then we have the new Ross Station, which is a little bit like the train station that was across the street. And that train station has been replicated and enlarged by charging a reasonable rate for weddings, any type of meeting, any type of party, by charging people, we think we'll be able to financially survive.
Jim Blackwell hopes to eventually create walking tours because the rich history of Seaford can't be contained within the 4 walls of this museum, giving tourists plenty of reasons to make Seaford a must-see when visiting Sussex County. Seaford Museum is open Thursday through Sunday from 1 to 4. You know what? You can get together a group as well. I mean, if you've got like a bunch that just gets together to do things, set up a tour at the Seaford Museum. You will love it.
I think one thing that we're learning about Seaford is it's one of those towns that, I mean, it had so much prosperity and still does.
Yeah.
But like with the railroad and the river and everything,
Yes.
didn't realize how economically viable it was 200 years ago.
200 years ago.